It's mind-blowing what we're seeing from Brock Purdy. He has the highest – check this out. He has the highest QB rating for a quarterback in his first 10 games in the history of the NFL. I'm talking about like the greatest quarterbacks of all time, he's doing better.
Yeah.
The last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, UCL injury, comes back, plays better than he ever has. They haven't lost 15 games in a row. They tied a franchise record for the most wins in a row by the 49ers ever. Excuse my language, this shit is crazy. Like what we're watching right now, no one's ever seen it before. And we get to sit here and watch it, man. It's a pleasure. I don't care about being wrong about whether Brock Purdy's arm strength was going to hinder his success. It's obviously not. I was wrong about that. I'll admit that part. I don't think I was wrong about his arm strength, but it's not a problem for Brock Purdy. And I don't give a shit. As a Niner fan, I enjoy watching it. I'll eat crow all day long and trade it for what I'm witnessing right now.
Yeah, I mean, his rise or his burst onto the scene, the only thing I can ever compare it to is Patrick Mahomes. And when Mahomes came on the scene 7 years ago, it was a lot of like incredible highlight plays, no look passes, left-handed, like downfield throws. He's a lot of fun to watch, and he was efficient. Purdy's like way different. He's not Brady standing in one place checking down, but it's all like very much watch how quickly he processes, watch how decisive he is, watch how elusive he is, watch how confident he is. Check out what a good leader he is, all at 23 years old, all while being the last pick in the draft. I mean, it's different than Mahomes, but it also it's almost even more remarkable than the Mahomes. So like Mahomes was the 10th pick in the draft. Everyone saw he made crazy throws in college. They didn't know if it was going to translate.
Yeah.
No one thought twice about, even the Niners. They're like, they took him with the last pick so they could sort of probably save money. If they had got him as an undrafted free agent, they might have had to bid against a couple teams, and maybe he would have been a little bit more expensive than the last pick in the draft. So it was almost economic what they did.
Can you imagine if Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl? This story is going to be better than the Kurt Warner story. There's
way
nothing comparable to what's going on right now in San Francisco or Santa Clara. I'm just here for it, man. I'm enjoying all of it. Just to see what he's doing. I mean, he's trending 30.6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He leads the league in completion percentage with 72%. He's trending like 4,300 yards. My mind is just blown. I will say, when I saw him last year in preseason, I said, this guy's intriguing and he looks like a playmaker. But I would be lying my ass off if I felt like if I sat here and told you I saw this coming. Like his ability to process and anticipate and just see the field is like nothing I've seen. It's crazy.
Also, his ability to improve on his weaknesses. Like, he'll do something, you'll say, all right, well, first of all, he threw a ton of picks in camp. That really happened. But where Jimmy Garoppolo would throw picks in camp and not learn from it, Brock obviously does learn from his mistakes and doesn't repeat them in games. So I didn't understand. I'm so programmed to watching Jimmy. Whereas like if he does it in practice, he's going to do it in the game. Like, not Brock. And then when he has a weakness that he shows in games, like the long throw or something, it's not a weakness 2 weeks later. He really improves. He faced Dallas last year and kind of struggled. I mean, the best thing he did was not turn the ball over. This year, the second time he faces him, essentially the same defense minus Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like Steve Young in the 1994 Super Bowl. You know, he just makes him look like the 94 Chargers.
Well, in training camp, when Brock Purdy was throwing interceptions, their response or things they said was, "Oh, he's working on things. He's focusing on his weakness, trying to improve." And the pessimist in me is like, "Are you really, or is this is this just happening?" And it seems like that's what it is to me. Brock Purdy doesn't really seem to give a damn about what people think outside perspective. He was legit probably just working on his weaknesses, trying to push himself in training camp to improve and get his arm strength back and get to where he needs to be. And man, it's wild stuff, man. 0 interceptions through 5 games. He's dominating. There's not many quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are playing at a higher level than Brock Purdy, if any. Very few.
Definitely not. Joey Mellons, I thought I was a member for 20 years. Here's 20 months up front. Thank you, Joey. I appreciate you. J.R. Beckled, is Purdy a top 6 quarterback? Man, I'm not willing to say that yet, but you can do that if you want.
I don't know if we're going to talk about it later. Are we going to talk about who would we trade?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We'll go over kind of that in a second and talk about that.
Neil says if Brock helps win the Niners Super Bowl this year, sorry.
Yeah.
Forget going to Disneyland. Disney will be at his front door the second he wins it for his movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
The movie's coming.